Hey everybody, I'm Go Veer Go Home. I'd like to welcome you back to my channel. Today we are doing a layout update video. This is for February of 2022. Now I didn't do one last month, so it's gonna be kind of a combined January, February layout update. And in this update, you are going to see what I've been working on for the last couple of months. Every month I like to feature different cars, different setups, and whatnot. Typically I will run a lot of my passenger equipment. I've got many different passenger cars. I've done ethanol, I've done my ore cars and some tank cars. But this month, I am doing box cars. These are some of my most favorite rolling stock that I have, and I've got lots of it from many different manufacturers. You're going to see some Atlas, Athearn, Exact Rail, Bowser, Walthers, you name it, I've got it. So sit back, relax, and let's watch what I've been up to. We're going to follow this train around the layout, which is my Bowser SD40-2 in ONR, the Aero scheme. And we're going to follow along and check out the scenery and see what I've been up to these last couple of months. And don't forget, if you like what you see and you want to see more of it, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications for every time a new video goes live. Welcome back, I'm Go Veer Go Home. So first up, we'll take a look at this section of the layout where the Beaver Lumber building is with the street crossing here. You ever notice how your track gets really dirty even when you're not running trains? Well, this section specifically had a lot of grime on the rails, so I did take some time last week and go over the rails coming up and going across the section here up to the crossover, just cleaning the rails just to make sure that the contact was perfect and that everything worked a little bit smoother in this area. There was trains that would stall out because of the dirty tracks, so I look forward to that not happening anymore. And of course, you guys remember from a couple of months ago that I did an install of a bunch of trees from Grand Central Scenery. I'm yet to order more, but I'm looking forward to ordering some in the near future to work on some other parts of the layout, such as this one here, where on the left side, I definitely need more trees and much more variety, and hopefully some bushes as well. And when you get closer to the front, there's definitely some areas that it needs the static grass, and it needs a little bit of a vacuum as well from working up above. I will be looking to add more detail to this scene as well. I already really enjoy this scene, but the gravel road that goes up to the supply shed there definitely needs a bit of TLC to it. And I also need to create a board for all the switch machine buttons for this side of the yard and for the entrance to the yard. That way it all the buttons are not hanging down in front of the fascia. The last time the guys were over, we had a heck of a time switching out the yard, as some of the switches do have buttons, but we had no idea where the buttons were that corresponded to those switches. And we ended up having to rifle through them and press a bunch just to figure it out. So what I decided was I'm going to get the buttons lined up on the fascia. I was going to drill it out and put them in place. So now you can see obviously where all the switches are going to go. And I've added the white background. I just need to line it off and paint the rest of it black. Speaking of trees, I managed to find a few more left over from what Grand Central Scenery had already sent me. So up here on my second level, you can see I did a bit of planting right by the North Bay shops. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it, but I did add a little container, which they do use for random tools, I guess, and a few other things. I'm not sure, I've never been in there, but I usually see it in a lot of photos. I still have to add a sanding tower, which I do have, but it's something that I need to put together and paint still. But I got to get that done, and a few detail parts for the roof as well. Looking at this area here as the train comes around the bend, the bridge that is on the left-hand side there, it's not complete yet. I do need to get another set of bridge abutments to complete the second half of that, which I will be doing this month. And I will be filling in a lot more of this as we go, but I do need to start with that first. And taking a look at this area here, you'll notice that I've added a road along the back there. I believe I might have showed that off at one point during one of my lives. But yeah, I've started filling it in. I've started doing the weaving around the back, and I'm starting to create the slope going down to where the water will be. I'm also using some rock molds that you can kind of see in the back there that I'm filling in for the back section, just to kind of add it to the backdrop, so that it's not flat road going to flat wall. I just want to add more detail to it, and I'm going to see what other rock molds I can find there, just to kind of fill it in and give it a bit more realism to it. This is another big section that I've been doing a lot of work on. You'll notice that from the live that I did a couple of weeks ago on a Third Rail Thursday, I painted the entire back side of this brown. I then eventually filled in all the ties going right around where the train is coming around on the main line and in this yard. I also painted the track brown, and I cleaned all the rails all the way from where the train is right now, where that switch is, all the way back around to the other side where the bridge is. This means smoother operations, and it's just a little bit more detail that has been added now that the ties have been filled in and painted. I'm looking forward to adding more detail coming up later this month, where I add lighting to this entire industry. And that'll be fun to see on Keeping Track. For the paper mill, I also added 3 designated switches so that I can take away or add power to the 3 industry tracks, just to make sure that there's not constant power going through all my rails. So I'm able to turn them off when I'm not using it and turn it on when I'm using that section. Not a lot of people know this, but this is actually one of my favorite locations to film from. The sweeping S-curve that goes into the helix, rejoining to go up or down, depending on which way you're going. It just makes for a great capture, and just seeing the trains going through this way, snaking between the trees and behind the building, it's just really awesome to see everything going through here in uniform. I also look forward to cleaning the rails back in the yard that's right behind the section here. This is the North Bay Shops. As soon as I get those rails cleaned, I'll be able to use the section a little bit more as everything is wired up. But ever since I did all the ballast and whatnot, the rails have been a little dirty, so I got to do that. I can honestly say that not much or anything at all has been really done with the top of the layout, seeing as how it's out of sight, out of mind, more or less. But I am looking to add more sidings to the layout and more industries. It's been tough trying to decide what will go where, especially with the fact that I have two major industries to add to the layout, both the steel mill and the ethanol series buildings. So I've got a few ideas, but nothing is set in stone. But I'm looking forward to be adding those. And possibly another train station. I mean, I could always use another one, right? A few more tracks for storage and whatnot. I do have a lot of passenger cars, so it's on my list. I do find that with the more running of trains that I do, I find that not only some cars work a lot better than others, but some need constant tune-ups or they need new couplers or new wheel sets. So the more that I run trains and whatnot, the more little jobs that I find. Um, Besides, obviously, adding structures and sidings, because I am running out of room. Even though it is, 3 levels and there are lots of sidings, there's still plenty of potential to add more sidings. And I'll be able to fit more cars in certain areas. And that's what I hope to do, because I like to be able to see and use everything without having to switch everything out every time I want to run new trains. And with the box cars, because I do have a lot of them, and I have just in the ONR with the Chevron almost 30. It's quite a bit, and I still have more cars that are still boxed up that I haven't even used yet. Over the next couple of months, I do plan on cleaning my tracks a little bit more, making sure that all the track that I have down now works as far as is everything wired up, adding more feeders if necessary, just to make sure that there's no power drops, and of course making sure that I clean everything. I also look to add more sidings just for storage, and of course I can add sidings, but I can't forget to add more buildings. I love adding buildings. So hopefully it's a busy year, because I've got lots more to do, and hopefully I'll be able to get some done on the top level as well. Well, thanks again, everybody. I'm Go VR Go Home. This was another layout update video. We're getting there. We're slowly getting there. But there's still lots more to go. So that being said, just a couple more announcements for you. Tomorrow, which is the first Thursday of the month, which would normally be Dave's Third Rail Thursday, I'll be taking over that live. And then next week, which is the second Thursday, which is what I normally do, we actually have Tim from They Make It Like That. He'll be doing a live. So we'll be over on his channel next Thursday, but we'll be right back here tomorrow. So stick around. We've got so much more. GVO After Dark, Keeping Track, all coming up at the end of the month. But there's going to be a few more videos as well. Also, if you haven't had a chance to check out my Rapido ore car video, go check a look. They are awesome. Until next time, though, I'm Go VR Go Home. I've got a train to catch.